Hello everybody, Socksway up here with a new series, Cattle Ranch 25. We're on Comlands. That might be a surprise to some of you that have been following the channel, but I've made some decisions based off of watching Cattle Ranch and wanting to do it a little bit different this time around, and I was working on my map. We're gonna make this real quick and get into the actual series. But I was working on my map and just running into issue after issue after issue and, came to the conclusion, really, that I just want to play the game. I don't want to be a modder. I don't want to make mods. I want to play Farming Simulator and make some fun content. So that rant's over. Let's talk about the way we're setting up the series this time around. As you can see, we have money in our accounts. We also have a loan. Finances $500,000, and that's to basically give us a penalty for starting out with money. That's the way I want to do it this time around. I don't want to spend a bunch of time cutting down these things and making money. We know we can successfully do that. I don't want this series to be about cutting down trees, getting enough money to buy a sawmill, and make a bunch of money off the sawmill. We did that with the 5 and 5 challenge. We did that with Whiskey RP. We did that with Cattle Ranch last time. Let's just get to the point where we can make fields so we can make the products that we need to then have cattle. That's what I want to do this time around. I want it to be more about the cattle ranch and less about exploits or the quickest way to make money in the game. I want it to be a fun series where we're playing Farming Simulator, building a beautiful cattle ranch, and having some fun. The money did change a little bit in those segments. We can see this cultivator that we bought, the International Harvester cultivator, the 45 Vebra shank, and it's gonna be our main tool to create our fields. So $94,000 left. We have a tractor, we have a cultivator. We don't have a way to really make any money yet. So that's something we have to keep in mind. We need some income coming in, and we'll maybe think of some ways to do that. Maybe a greenhouse does make sense early on. We did that in Cattle Ranch, and it was an OP greenhouse. This time we can use base game ones, and maybe that's the route to go. We'll do some lettuce or something, but that would also mean we would need a tractor that was able to move pallets around, and I don't believe this has a front loader. Yeah, I didn't see an option to set up a front loader when I bought it, so that's kind of out the window unless we got another tractor. $94,000 is gonna be tough. I think it will be tough enough. And then paying off that $500,000 loan, we have to keep that in mind, that we gotta pay it off before we really say we're successful. And I gotta be honest with you, I want that done in less than 2 years. So that is the main goal. We'll be having the debt paid off in 2 years while we're building this beautiful ranch. Now, as far as our area is concerned, I think what I want to do is give myself a little bit of an outline. And it would have made sense to do that with something that's not going to turn into a field, but we can always fix it later. So let's go ahead and unfold this thing. We're not going to make a ton of money off of silage either. That's kind of the decision that I've made. And I want to just turn around and get in a little better starting spot. Let's go about right there. Make sure we're facing exactly 90 degrees. We'll lower it. We'll activate fields. We'll drive forward. And we'll try to keep it at about 90. And this isn't going to be our entire field. I just want to kind of make an outline so we know what we're dealing with. So we can see on the mini map. I can make it a little bigger for you guys right now. There is a little triangle that we're in right now that leads to the fork in the road. So on this side, we can have a field, maybe a pasture for cattle. And on the other side of this fork in the road, we can do another field as well. So it gives us a decent start. Land's not cheap. It's all over $100,000. Something else to keep in mind. I think what I'm going to do is lift on the, totally changing topics here, lift by the road. And that's a good visual already. And just do this outline here, so we know how far we can go this direction. But yes, I'm excited to get going. I'm gonna ramble a lot, probably in the first few episodes, because it's just a little more excitement, new series. It's, the cash cow, pun intended, of the channel. It's, what really got our subscription count skyrocketing and our sub count that's the same thing. And our view count skyrocketing. It's something near and dear to my heart. It's cattle ranch alongside Whiskey RP, but I do want to do this a little bit different than last time, as I mentioned, and it's still going to be a blast. I'm going to get this outline done, and then we'll start figuring out exactly what we want to do for our first field. Yeah, almost done with this. It does give us a nice visual outline of what we have to work with. I think this is a smart decision. And I think what we'll do is this will be reserved on this side probably for some cattle, and we'll try to use most of this side for a field to start with. And, probably we'll be, reusing seasonal growth this time around. So we'll be limited to what we can plant based on what's available for the months. And then we'll have to, get through time before we can make money. And yeah, we'll just have to, figuring out how much a month that loan's going to cost is going to be a big thing. So that's where it's going to really hamper us, is we're going to be pretty much losing money because of the loan. So I do think once we get a field established, get something planted, we'll probably want to, start budgeting and figuring out what we can spend on, making money, like greenhouse wise. But yeah, let me finish this outline and we'll get cranking. So the outline is done there. You can see we went a little bit past it, but I think that is actually where the field property line is. So it's a little bit beyond the back line here, and it cuts right there. So we have that nice, kind of triangles type shape on both of these. And then this just little area, you can see it comes straight right here where I want to designate for the house to begin with, at least on this plot of land. We might find a different plot of land as we expand. We might want to put it right on this cliff edge, like the backyard eventually. Maybe we do clear all this out here eventually, and that's where we live, and we do that lumber work because it's something we want to do. All right, so big decision time. I want to kind of look at a few things here, and we're going to talk through it. So greenhouse-wise, we have $3,000 for the small one, and that is a rice sapling, so we don't want that one. But the $36,000 greenhouses are the ones that are really going to make sense. I don't want to do the mushrooms. I think we would just do lettuce because they are the most profitable. And look at the angle on this property. Oh, no flat land anywhere. Nope. How about over here? This isn't terrible. So we might designate back here to do some stuff like that. And I think if we save $36,000 and then jump into the store, the cheapest one here is about $6,000. Okay, that's 2,080 liters. And then let's see if this other tractor, I don't think it can have a front loader either. What about the Ford? It's $44,000. Attachments, I don't see anything for that either. Front loader. So that does have one. So $45,000 might be our best bet here. That might have been what we should have started with, huh? Does the Chalmers? Little tiny guy. Alice Chalmers. And maybe we find a skid steer or a cheap, forklift that we could add. The next thing I want to kind of look at is cedar wise. We do have these ones. So we're probably going to go with this to start with for our cedar. I do know we're going to do that, so let's go ahead and buy this. I don't think anything here really mattered to change. The styles would have been kind of nice, but I like what we did. Now this... Oh, let's actually head back and find out about that real quick. Okay, yeah, it does not have the fertilization. And where would a good old repair station be? Not marked on the map. So you kind of have to find it. Yeah, I don't see anything anywhere. I don't know exactly how I want to solve this yet. I think we're just going to live with it. Once we can afford our own workshop, maybe we'll do that, or if somebody in the comments tells me where the one is on this map. But these seeds are going to stay here, the tiny little bit that's still in there. So we'll head home. So this should get us by for a while, and just kind of thinking through some things. We're going to need a way to make money, and it might be hay, guys. At first it might be hay, but I'm kind of thinking about buying everything that I know I'm gonna need. So the next necessity would be a harvester, really. So we cultivate, we can plant, and we got to be able to harvest. And then we need something we can put the grain in, so a grain cart. Those would be the absolute necessities to avoid doing silage or any grass work to begin with. But we want cattle. We do want cattle, so we know we need 2 field types for that. We're gonna want straw for manure and for TMR, and we're gonna need hay and silage. That's just the reality of it. So I think what we're going to do is this side here, we're going to make a decent sized field for probably planting barley. So let's switch that now. So let's drop that because we need the field first. Oh no, we're going to lose it. I think it might stay there now. Okay, Chris. You want to stay far enough off the road. Those are the style of fields that I do like. So it is now time to make our first field. Let's get rolling on Cattle Ranch. There's the outline done. I want to take a better look at this. There's a good look at the outline, and we're going to get rid of the border momentarily, but just wanted that to help me out. I think that's a good size field to start with. And just a tiny little speck that we missed. But thinking through this, we definitely need a way to make money. And waiting an entire, like, we do the like calculation here. We plant some wheat. We wait till next, what, July or June to harvest it, or barley, whatever we decide. And then we sell it in December. So we're looking a year and a half before we have any money coming in, and that's not going to cut it. So what I'm thinking of doing is looking around and seeing if we can find some cheap hay equipment. It doesn't pay as well as silage, and it definitely fits what we're going to want to buy long term anyways. So what a view. Gosh, what a view. What I came up with is this guy, $800. So we're going to go with the tedder. We're gonna go, let's go like this blue color for the tedder. Yeah, we'll do that for the tedder. We're gonna buy it, and then we'll change this to windrower, and I want to go like red. Yeah, that looks cool. I like that. That'll be for the windrower. And we found this little bar. I hope it works. It's only has no setups. It's 2 meters width, and it's $1,000. And then we'll need something to pick up the forage with. And then we're going to need something to pick up the hay with, so we're going to go with this for $11,500. So next, let's look at the calendar. So if we're going to do barley, we can't even plant until September. So we got that field prepped for that. I guess it's time to go pick up the mower. It's starting to get a nice pile of equipment. Are we going to be able to remember blue for tedder and red for rower? Red rower, I guess that makes sense. I already see something that I'm not okay with. It's broken. Oh man, I hope that mod works, guys. I don't think this mod works, so we'll be looking for a different mower. We're gonna, yeah. It was $1,100, right? So let's go in here, and we'll sell it, and we're gonna give ourselves back $100 there as well. We might as well go back to the store. We gotta look up some more goods. We will go with this International for $9,000. It just goes with the set. Yeah, this looks good together. I guess I was also assuming that we actually had grass that we could cut here, which is not the case. So I just want to test something out real quick. Yep, that is the case. Okay, we have this stuff purchased, but we're not, yeah, that was a mistake. We're not necessarily going to be able to use it today. We need to establish a grass field. We need to get grass planted as soon as possible. So that's going to be the audible we're going to call. And we want to keep in mind that we want to save some of this for cattle. So I'm going to cultivate over what I just did here. We can always change it later. We can change it later. Let's just get this a decent sized field going here so that when November comes, we should be able to cut it. And done with that phase of it. Let's go ahead and put the cultivator away, fold it up. It's done for quite a while, I guess. I don't know the next time we'll have to cultivate. It'll probably be after we harvest next year. A good spot for it now. Let's go grab that cedar. No time to waste. I'm a little worried about the interest on this loan. Double check some of our assumptions on the field state here. It's gonna need, oh, it does get 50% fertilizer, which is nice. And it did not take away the plowing state. Actually, we're gonna shut that off. I don't play that way. Periodic plowing is off, so that'll be fine. It does need lime, and yeah, so that's it. We don't have money for that. Really got to hold on to this money for that harvester. All right, let's make sure we switch this to grass. And it feels a little familiar, but you know, farming is very familiar. So we got to get over that. We got to just know we got to do things to make money. And some of it's going to be tedious and repetitive. Now, if I remember, you just lower this, right? You don't even have to turn it on. Oh, don't tell me this doesn't work either. Lower cedar, and then... Is it planting? Is it planting? Crop type grass. It is. Keep on cruising. And I guess I will do the headland, even though we don't plant that way anymore. But it is a habit of mine that I'm trying to break. And we'll do ups and downs and get these areas that we're missing. I guess let's just hug the line. Kind of unfortunate that we couldn't make money directly off the grass, but it is what it is. Adds to the difficulty. Cruising through this, and I'm kind of wondering, with these field shapes we're making, what is the steering assist gonna look like? Let's do like minimal headlands, and then gosh, I mean, I guess that kind of makes sense. The power of our tractor is gonna allow us to pull this off, but otherwise this up and down here on this hill, it's a little rough. I think this will be the most efficient way for me to finish this job though. Let's get rolling. I'm legitimately worried about this debt. We'll see when it's September how much each month's going to cost us, and we're only going to have 2 cuts. I think we'll get 2 cuts of this grass to sell hay before it's time to make sure we can purchase the harvester. This is going to be tough, guys. I actually feel like I set this up pretty tough, but that's all done. Let's double check the map and see how that's looking. Yeah, that looks pretty good. All kinds of grass there. All this extra area that we can use. Oh man, should have gone big. Should have gone big. There's a chance we go bankrupt and fail this entire series. And hopping up into the sky to kind of see what we ended up doing with these roads. We just kind of connected them up with the existing ones to kind of just give us an established area. This one will probably change a little bit and go all the way into there once we own that land, but not a bad first episode. We got our nice international tractor here, our farm all. International mower, cedar, cultivator. There's a trend. And of course, the F-250. I'm Socksway Up. Thanks for hanging out on the first episode of Cattle Ranch 25.